This is so lovely at the dam. It is honestly a beautiful, peaceful spot. I think I'd stop here every afternoon with my guests and have sundowners here at this spot, just being able to listen. And I think what we will do next time you come back to us, because it will be even better, as we shall listen to the sounds of the bush. But let's go across to Scott to see if we can hear his leopard snoring.
Well, I don't think you'll be able to hear the leopard snoring, but you will be able to enjoy that beautiful scene of a combination of technology and the natural wonders of the clouds and the sunsets. He is still fast asleep, but he has kind of been tossing and turning and rolling over, and I'm confident he's fairly soon going to get up and take us on a little stroll. I'm guessing it's going to be a short stroll to kill that he stashed somewhere. I'm feeling very confident about that, Dave. Let's see if we can. I don't know if you'll have the right angle, but we might be able to get a nice shot of those hornbills kind of silhouetted just over there. Oh no, they're not silhouetted for you because you're too high up. But let's see how it looks. Might be some nice backlighting. Hello guys. Do something funky for us, ideally your call, where you hold your wings high up above your head. They are such comical birds. I just can't help but have a smile on my face when I'm looking at them. I'm not too sure what it is, whether it's their beak or their colors or a combination of everything. With this great lighting, it's incredible to see. Look at all the dust coming off them. How cool. And you may find that they have actually been dust bathing prior to coming up here and doing a deep preen. Dust bathing's something that my little brain hasn't managed to wrap its head around, because to roll around in dust, I don't see how that is going to help keep clean. But there's some kind of theory or notion that by having dust particles on the feathers, as they preen through with the beak, it almost gives a little bit of grip, you know, for the beak to pull out any lice or small parasites. You can clearly see that they were very dusty. Oh, yes. Come on, do a better one for us. Give us the full Monty. Oh, no. Where have they gone? Because I'm confident they're gonna... Have you got a view of them from there, Dave? Just in that tree there, I think. Mm-hmm. Just on the edge. Yeah, well done. It's just on the back one and slightly lower. Anyway, not to worry. It wasn't meant to be because they flew off anyway. But they were there. I was really hoping that we were going to get to see them doing their funky call. But no joy. I think I might have to hunt them down because they're continuing to call. Let's go on a hornbill hunt, everybody. Don't go anywhere, Mr. Hukumuri. We will be coming back. You've had a very easy afternoon so far, but we expect more from you later. Okay. I'm hoping they're going to have moved up into a big dead tree, where we're going to get some unobstructed views of them doing their call, hopefully silhouetted by a beautiful sunset. But for now, I cannot see a thing. Ha! It's too soon to panic. Hopefully they're not too far away. Here we go. We got them. See, Cantrell, you suggesting that dust bathing is possibly useful for soaking up the oils. I think that's a good theory. Very good theory, actually. So thank you for sending that through. Oh yeah. Okay. Now we are going to have a silhouette. Not exactly of the sunset, but we would need a helicopter in order to be able to do that. But we can see the old hornbills perch there, and I'm sure it's just going to be a matter of seconds before they start calling again, and I'm confident that they're going to give us the full Monty. Come on, guys. Kuruk, kuruk. Don't you guys flutter away yet. Oh, no. They're trying to upstage the poor Cape turtle dove that's sitting on the edge of the branch there. Let me move forward quickly a little bit. There we go. Come on, guys. They're warming up. You can hear them. Kuruk, kuruk. Kuruk, kuruk, kuruk. Just chatting, getting themselves ready for the greatest hornbill performance of all time. And go. Not quite. Kirsty, who, for those of you who don't know her, which is most of you, or know her personally, she's a very witty lady, and she has just suggested that it will be a silhouetted song. Thank you for your clever use of words there. Yeah, it must be said, I mean, you guys, I guess, get to know the personalities of the presenters. Not so much the cameramen and not so much the directors or the tech guys, and they actually make up the majority of our crew, not us. And we've got a very colourful bunch of staff that provide never-ending entertainment. Sometimes it's funny entertainment, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's just plain weird, but we've got a great bunch and a mixed batch that make up our crew. These hornbills are lucky I don't have a catapult. I'm only joking. I would never hurl a rock at a hornbill for not performing. Isn't that a beautiful scene though? Maybe they're waiting for more vehicles. Maybe there's not a big enough audience here for them to perform. Aha, Jimmy. Stage fright. Yes, indeed. I think it could be stage fright. Maybe it's the two Egyptian geese that are waddling around in front of us that are causing them to be a little bit nervous. If you guys cause us to lose this Hukumuri male leopard and not perform for us, I'm going to be in big trouble with a lot of people. So get your act together. Come on, it's that time of the evening. Tell all the other hornbills that this is your patch for the night. No joy. Well, there's some cool relief now as the sun is set behind the horizon and really enjoying that. Oh, sorry, Dave. Oh, you still got a bit of a half gap there. Yep. But Kirsty's just cleverly mentioned that as soon as she links to the next presenter, these birds are going to call, which is Murphy's Law. It very often happens that way. And all the other way around, as you link to a new presenter, his animal or her animal disappears behind a bush. So now we are in a conundrum. We've almost overinvested and now we can't pull out until something happens. Yes, kiss and then sing. What are you doing? Hey, play nicely. You're gripping your lady by the ear there, or your husband. I think it's the other way around, actually, because usually the females are bigger than the males, so it looked like the female was just pecking the old boy on the ear. That was really interesting. I've never seen a hornbill do that. Just latch on to its partner. Almost like a bit of a love bite. That's what it was. That's exactly what it must have been. That was a love bite, a hornbill love bite. It's the first. Okay, well, we tried but I think Kirsty has wisely pulled the plug on Operation Silhouetted Song, and we are going to send you off to Taylor McCurdy, who has got you guys into a magnificent spot to enjoy the sunset.
And now I bet those hornbills are calling and Scott is banging his head on the steering wheel. Sorry, Scotty. That is unfortunate. It's not pleasant when the animals play games with you like that. But Chitwa Dam is turning out to be quite spectacular this evening. We've got just the right amount of clouds to form the perfect sunset. And we will actually be able to watch the sunset behind the trees this evening, because there it is. Look at it. It's stunning. And on that happy note, I think I'm going to sit quietly now and also just enjoy the scenery. Bet you didn't think I could sit quietly for that long. Neither did I. I've been wanting to say that for like the last 30 seconds now. Apparently you could hear me breathing. I'm so sorry. I'll try breathe quietly. Short breaths. No, then you'd really hear me breathing. Could you really hear me breathing, Kirsten? I was trying to be so quiet and not move. Right. It seems as though Steve is also playing the game of sunsets, and he's got some lovely golden lit grass.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Yes, we were having a moment of silence ourselves this side as Ferg is taking in the glorious light coming through those finger grass as he now pans to show you a majestic scene. This morning we spoke about how some of these dead trees can form amazing, picturesque backdrops. We have 2 dead knobthorn trees framing our sky. Isn't that marvelous? Allow you a moment just to take it in. Every day, sunsets are unique. You can position behind different trees, different elevations, different clouds happen to appear in the sky. I must have thousands of pictures of African sunsets. I still do not get bored of them. I've actually stopped taking photos of them and just merely memorize them with my eyes. As the golden orb slowly moves to the horizon, we are making our way back to the area of Thandi and her cub, and hopefully we'll get them moving out onto the road if we can. If we can't, we'll keep you updated. But while we do that, we're going to go over to Taylor, who I believe is also watching an amazing view.
Ours is almost finished though. Actually, I think it's just going to get better once that sun drops completely below the tree line. It's going to get nice. It's going to get dark on the water though, which is going to make it difficult for us to spot the animals, but we shall give it a bash anyways. And now I'm wanting to change position again at some point, because I see that there are a few hippopotamus moving closer to the island where Snappy was, and that might be our best bet to see some more hippos. Actually, yes, Senzo, let's go and do that, because the little ones are coming out of the water now, and they're always quite funny to see with all their extra rolls, but that is lovely. Isn't it? Right. We're ready. Let's go. I'm the winner. Yay, I love being the winner. I'm such a sore loser. It's a bit embarrassing. Just one of those things, I can't be perfect. Okay, wait, I'm actually going to do a little bit of Ferrari safari here. Not much, though. It's just very bumpy because I want to get that little hippopotamus. Is going to be so cute. Just around the next bend. That's what my dad always used to say to me when we'd go on long trips. It's just around the corner, Taylor. It's just around the corner. Meantime, we'd have 300 kilometers to still go. And I used to believe it. Can you believe it? Okay, Egyptian geese are running. Gosling, sorry. I'm so sorry, Egyptian geese. I didn't mean to chase you back to the water again. Look, I'm just going to stop because I feel terrible now. Off they go. Whip. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ah, you didn't even splash. No one did a bomb drop. How upsetting. Okay, now that they've got down there peacefully, I'm going to go forward again. I don't know why. They run from, kilometers that way to come to the water. I promise I won't hurt you. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. I'm going to win the safari just with this. Oh, it's so cute. Look at those little rolls. Come back out, little hippo. Maybe if we sit here for long enough, it'll come back out again. It didn't seem too bothered. Mom doesn't seem too perturbed at all. She was just sort of moving around. What you got in your mouth? Piece of grass? Have you not quite worked out how to eat that stuff yet? Well, we'll put on our patience pants. Different ones from Scott was wearing. And then we'll see if this little one comes back out. It just ventured out. They'll eventually get used to the cars and settle down. Now, Trish, you're wondering if hippos are strictly herbivores? Well, after seeing a couple feasting on carcasses and playing around with them in the Mara, I think in times of desperation they might supplement their diets with a little bit of meat, but typically they are ooh, wow, look at the splashing to the right. Wow. Okay, well that one is splashing a different way. You may have seen as Senzel was zooming in, the one on the right actually leaped out of the water and did quite a big splash as well. So they typically do eat grass. And they'll eat leaves. They don't really have the digestive aids to sort of get rid of those leaves. But in times of desperation, when there's droughts, which there often are in this area, some blacksmith lapwings, and they will have to start feeding on those different things. Again, the guinea fowl are going crazy. You might be able to hear them. Where are they? Where are my binoculars? See if I can figure out whereabouts they are. Sounds like they might be in that tree line. Just at the back, just out of sight. So we will go and have a little look. There are some water back around, but they don't seem to be reacting to the guinea fowl. And now the guinea fowl has stopped. No, they're still going. Started again. Even the saber-toothed pigeon is now squawking away. Also, that's a new name for a hardy-da, everybody. We don't call them hardy-da ibises. We call them saber-toothed pigeons from now on. That's the new official name. It's not really, but I thought it was quite funny. A friend of mine called it that, and I spat my coffee out everywhere and almost choked. Still going crazy. I think we need to go there, Senzel. Right, we're going to leave Chitwa Dam now. We're going to those guinea fowl. They're probably going. I'm going to have to say hashtag got tricked again for the second time, because I know that that's what they're going to do to me. Right. Yesterday I sat with sleepy wild dogs for 3 hours. Scott was sitting with a sleepy leopard. Let's go and see if Hukumuri is showing any signs of waking up.
Well, no joy just yet. He's still fast asleep. And I'm becoming more and more confident with my theory that he has got a kill stashed nearby. For him to hang out within the same area for 24 hours without having another kill here is highly abnormal behavior for a male leopard. They've got huge territories, even though we don't know exactly how big this guy's is at the moment. They've got much larger territories than the females, a lot of things to do and check up on, and it just really doesn't add up that he's still here. So I'm hoping that in the next 45 minutes he's going to get up and take us to wherever he has this kill stashed. And who knows, maybe it's something big, You know, maybe he'll be in the area for another 24 hours. Only time will tell. I could, of course, be completely wrong. But I'm confident that I'm right. But not too much going on here. It's an incredibly peaceful evening. I'm hoping Taylor's guinea fowl provide her with some excitement. Always wonderful following up on alarm calls. Oh, well, you wouldn't believe it. Taylor has cracked the code and found the predator. Off you go.
Yes! I didn't get tricked this time. Those guinea fowl led us straight towards the spotted thing sitting on the side of the road. How awesome is that? However, I do need to call the sighting in, so let me do that, please, very quickly. Let me see if I can get hold of anybody. I don't know who it is just yet. Also, I've lost my game drive radio. It might be Tingana, because it looks like a big cat. Now, any stations can copy me. I've got a male leopard on the dam wall closer to the Chitwa rooms. There's one on lock. 2 stations can make their approach if you guys can just take over. Thank you. Radio down. Listen to how I upset the guinea fowl are. We should be able to see this leopard snarl too, because I don't think it's going to be very impressed. Look at that. Who are you? Is it Tingy? It is Tingana. I haven't seen him for such a long time. Look at that tail. That says, leave me alone, or else I'm going to chase you. He's very angry right now. He's not happy, because the guinea fowl are basically giving away his presence to everybody. Every single mammal out here will now know, and bird, even the hammerkop's joining in, that there is leopard here. Guinea fowl are bright. I don't know if they're brave or stupid. I haven't quite worked it out yet. I don't know if I'd be getting that close to a leopard, knowing what their charging speed is at 24 meters per second. That makes for quite a pretty picture, don't you think? Do I feel an illegal snap coming along? Maybe. I think I have to do one, everybody. Oh, right. It seems as though Steve has got a surprise of his own. Let's not waste any more time.
Thank you very much. Yes, we were on our way to come and get the area of Thandi, and she has done exactly what we'd hoped for. We're still a little bit more east of where she stashed the cub, or where Scott had her with the cub. And coming around the corner there, she was in the road, and she just said, hello, I'm going to upstage Tingana. And she has. Here she is. Well done, Ferg. Ferg actually spotted her. I was trying not to put Ferg into, the vehicle into another hole, lest he gets whipped off again. Isn't she a beautiful cat? I'm thinking it's Thandi. I mean, we were right. Probably about 100 meters or so from where the cub was, or where Scott left her this morning. So I'm assuming it's her. My knowledge of the face, I didn't get a good look at her face, but she is a pretty female. Leopard trifecta indeed, everybody. Okay, I'm not sure what she's doing, if she's spotted anything there, but we will follow her. You've still got her there. Going to just go off-road here, folks. There's no guinea fowl alarm calling for her. There's not too much out this way that we saw when we were up earlier. There were a couple in Impala. So while we continue and try to follow this beautiful cat, we're going to go back over to her man, Tingana with Taylor.
My man? I hope you mean like a homie. I don't know. But right, it is a leopard trifecta today. Very cool. And a cat that I have not seen for a long time. Well, Tingana, you've managed to ruffle many birds' feathers. The guinea fowl, the hammerkop are shouting in the distance. And I don't know who else is going to be bothered by them. You're looking rather old, and I don't mean that in a bad way, Tingana. You just look like you've aged a lot. I think you've had some stressful encounters over the last few months since I've been gone. You hear those hammerkop? That's so cool. Oh no, and then yes, apparently, well, Rexon was also telling me that Tingana was sick. What was wrong with him? Well, hopefully he's not feeling so under the weather anymore. I hope not, because he's a lovely cat. But sometimes you need to take a bit of a rest and move away from society and reality and, just take a break. So perhaps that's just what this man needed. I mean, he's not a young boy anymore, and especially with these upstarts moving on in that are a couple of years younger than him, will definitely have a bit more energy, although he's got experience on his side. So we must not forget that he is a very experienced cat and he knows this area very, very well. He'll show the youngsters a thing or two as long as he's fit and healthy. So I haven't seen him obviously standing up. He's just laying down at the moment. Those big paws. Hopefully if he stands up we'll be able to figure out if he's had a meal or not. And I also don't know if anybody's copied my message, so I'm going to find out on the radio. Let me call Sheldon quickly. Sheldon for Taylor. I think everybody went to the west to see those wild dogs that were down on Arathusa, if I'm not mistaken. Standing by, did you guys copy my message about the male leopard on the dam wall at Chitwa? Gobby, can you just take over the sighting? I'm not sure if there's anybody else that wants to join in. There we go. Now I've officially handed the sighting over. Basically did the equivalent of a dine and dash on the radio. I did tell everyone where it was, and it's an easy spot to find. So there's one other car coming to join us. I think it might be Harley. I'm not sure who actually was having a chat with me. But this is really amazing. So let's go through who I've seen. So when I first got back, I got to see Hosanna. He was the first leopard I saw. How amazing. And I believe that you hadn't seen him for quite some time either, so that was quite nice. And then I got to see Hukumuri, the new male, who is giving this fella a run for his money. And then, of course, now Tingana. Next on my list is Tamba. Although I would really like to see Thandi and her little one too. So maybe I'll be looking for them in the morning. We'll see. Everybody's had the most amazing sightings of this little bundle of joy bounding around. Or I wouldn't mind seeing Shadow and not Barbara. So either one of those other cats would be fine with me too. It would be really nice. I wonder where Hosanna is though. It's maybe why Hosanna has moved away. Oh, I know you're all a bit sad. Sorry, I'm just shuffling in my seat. I know you're all a little bit sad about Tingana. He isn't looking as glamorous as what he normally does. But that's normal. These types of things happen. You know, they are strong 1 minute, they take a knock slightly, but they recover quickly. Right. Thandi seems to be sort of out in the open, and Steve's got another view of her, so let's see what mission she's going to take you on.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. She's very interested in something. I'm not sure what, but she's been sort of tiptoeing around this bush here, having a very good sniff at whatever might be around. Maybe there's a carcass here. Maybe she can smell some Franklin. I'm not quite sure, but we're just going to stay right where we are because she's coming straight towards us through this little bush here. So I apologize if the view is not so great, but she's about to come through. Well, she's coming. Definitely smelling something. This is so special to see her again. I was really hoping to see her bundle of joy, but we'll stay without that for now, as we just stay with this beautiful and sublime cat. Apologies for the back of the vehicle. She is walking behind us, and our aerial might get in the way now. She is a superstar, and she knows it. There she goes. As soon as she moves away a bit, I will reposition, folks. Fergie's going to have to come all the way around, but she's still very, very interested in smelling whatever it is that is out here. I have no idea what. But she's right there, slowly making her way. Sky asks how far away are Hukumuri and Thandi. I'm going to have a quick look at the map, see if I can get an idea, and I'll give you a distance. We're right on our eastern boundary now. Probably about 2 miles, I would say. It's a fair distance, considering how these leopards move. It's a decent enough distance. I think in a very safe place. She spent a lot of time out here with the cub, out on the eastern side, and she's left the cub probably in hiding somewhere where we were earlier, and she's come out. She's definitely on the prowl. You can see the body language does not lie. Very interested in what's going on. Her senses are very attuned. Alan, you think she might be tracking where Hukumuri's scent marked? I'm not sure. I don't know if he's come this far east. He seems to be more sort of on the middle western side of Djuma. We're right on the eastern side right now, and I don't think she would be following him. She might be following the markings or the scent markings of a steenbok. This is ideal habitat for them. We bumped one of them on our way through here earlier, if you remember that. And they are quite secretive animals, but they have very small territories, and she might be trying to track one of them down. Dacre also, this is ideal habitat for them, and she is, as we've seen, an absolutely spectacular Dacre hunter. And she's just moving very quietly, following very unseen or invisible trails to our eyes, but she's definitely interested. Something stirring in the air for her, and she's just standing very still, trying to listen, find out what there is. Is there a small hoof fall? Is there a little sniff? Maybe a little bit of browsing, feeding behavior, perhaps. I'm going to start up and continue on with her before we lose her in the long grass, which is very easily done. It is thankfully not too thick, the vegetation here. There is a lot of long grass. So we're going to go from this beautiful leopardess to Scott and his big tomcat.
Well done to Steve and to Taylor. Epic stuff, and it's not often that we get 3 leopards on the go simultaneously. I'm hoping that Thandi leads Steve back to that cute little cub. But if she's on the eastern boundary, I'm not sure exactly where he is, that would indicate that she's possibly headed away from the cub looking for a meal. Anyway, time will tell. Time will also tell whether this guy has got a kill somewhere nearby. And I was just telling Dave we might need to stick around after the drive. If he hasn't got up by then, stick around and wait and see what in fact is going on here, so that we know what the deal is in the morning. Okay, well, it sounds like Steve's got a much better view of Thandi as opposed to our fairly average view of Hukumuri. Off you go.
A much better view indeed. The Queen is on her throne as she surveys her territory. Isn't that a marvelous view? She creeped up the side of this termite mound, very similar to the way I watched Hukumuri do it the other day, and possibly she's out for a warthog. It's unsure of what she might be looking for, but these cats are such opportunists. And what I noticed with Hukumuri the other day, he investigated every single termite mound he came across, and it looks like she's going to play the patience game. I wonder if she's got patience pants like Taylor does. We certainly do, and we will spend most likely the rest of our drive with this beautiful cat.
I certainly know that Taylor's patience pants are leopard spot.
Ferg says that he certainly knows that Taylor's patience pants definitely have leopard spots. Katja wants to know why is the Sabi Sands an ideal habitat for leopards. Well, Katja, in fact, the entire low-veld savanna biome is ideal habitat for leopard But the Sabi Sands has been an ecotourism operator. Many private landowners, many ecotourism lodges in the Sabi Sands that have conducted for over 60 years intensive leopard habituation. And essentially what it is the leopards are very relaxed to the vehicles. A reserve I worked in before also had lots of leopards. You just never saw them. There were far fewer vehicles, and there was never any in-depth habituation process that went through. So 60 years ago, the first leopards were habituated painstakingly. The pioneers put forward and figured out how to follow leopards and how game drive safaris would work. And then each of those leopards that became relaxed had offspring, and the offspring became relaxed, and henceforward we have got a huge number of leopards within the Sabi Sands that are very used to seeing vehicles and do not see us as food or any hindrance to their behavior. They just sort of go by their way. We just seem to be a big box that follows them around and takes pictures. So the habitat here is ideal for leopards, but the low-veld savanna biome, small mammal species such as duiker, steenbok, impala, they all form the primary diet. And when we talk about habitat for an animal is not just the environment it lives in, but the food resource. So if you don't have the food, the animals will have to move out or adapt a different way. And when we go to the northern parts of Gauteng, in the Magaliesberg Mountains and Pretoria, north of Johannesburg, the leopards there, they come into the towns, and sadly as it might sound, they've adapted to feed on domestic dogs because the food resource out there, due to man and the sort of expansion of cities, the leopards are still doing very well out there, but there are dogs going missing all the time. It's very sad to say, but the leopards are very well adapted to adapting. Hence I said that word twice, but they're a very adaptable species and will always generally be the last species or predator to move out of an area because they're able to change and shift their diet. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of a bounce around from leopard to leopard, and we're going to go from this female once again, but this time to Taylor and Tingana.
Who's still fast asleep, having a snooze. I'm sure he's enjoying the cool breeze that's flowing over him now. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's actually quite pleasant because it has been exceptionally hot out this afternoon. But he doesn't seem to be too worried about the heat. And I'm impressed that he hasn't got any biting flies on him, because I've been covered by them most of the afternoon, and especially since I found Tingana. Maybe I've lured them away from him and on to me. But I'm still wondering and hoping, I'm hoping that he does get up and show himself, because I would like to see what type of condition this boy is in. It does make me sad. Of course it would make me sad to see a cat that I've spent such a long time with to sort of not be well. He doesn't seem to be unwell at the moment. I know he's going to get annoyed. Senzo, look, he's coming back. Can you see? The guinea fowl. Oh no, now they're flying. Off they go. They've decided to take... Oh, they probably just realized, oh, we have wings. We can do that. Woo! Nicely done, Senzo. Nicely done. There's a few more that haven't decided yet if they are going to fly overhead, or perhaps they're going to try and walk past him and shout at him again. He must get a headache having guinea fowl, and so many guinea fowl alarming right next to you. It's like they went to go and call their friends. Shame, Tingana. Round 2 might be on its way, and I apologize in advance for those birds. He has got his eyes open. I think he's just hoping that they don't come near him. He's listening to them now. Now, Benoli, you're wondering how far away is Tingana from Hukumuri? Well, as the crow flies, I'm just going to guess here now, maybe about 5 kilometers or so, something like that. Maybe 6. I don't think it's particularly far, in fact. Look at him, he's going, oh, for goodness sake, can these birds just please go away from me? I'm just trying to have a nice afternoon nap before I have to go and mark my territory. So I don't think Hukumuri and Tingana will be meeting tonight, unless Tingana goes marching on over straight on to Djuma, and then most of the time he ends up popping past Vuyatela Dam, then potentially they could meet. Otherwise, I think they might leave each other alone. I just don't know where Hosanna is, because the last time we saw Hosanna was around here. It was 2 days ago now. So we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens out here. Again, Tingana seems to be a gentleman in terms of tolerating the young boys. Perhaps he knows they're not too much of a threat. And here come the guinea fowl. Right, well, keep your fingers crossed that this lot decide to fly over and not bother this poor boy anymore. He's put up with him for quite some time. But off we go back across to Steve with a beautiful Thandi.
And you're back with us, and Thandi is still here. He's just starting to move again. Oh, we are in infrared, folks, so as to maximize the visual that we'll be able to have with regards to this cat. And we're going to keep up with her. She's been sitting nicely on that termite mound since you last came. I might need to talk on the radio shortly, as we have another game viewer that is quite interested in coming and having a look. So apologies for that, but I also need to try and keep up. Okay. I've got a bit of a rubber problem here. Apologies. There we go. So, welcome to join. Just mobile south. I hope you got my lights there before. Just follow me off-road there. I'm about 100 meters from you. Okay, there she goes. We're heading south towards our southeastern boundary now. Was playing the patience game. She's very interested. Look at that beautiful face. Gianna, age 11, your mom is allergic to cats. What a shame. I love cats, and I'm not sure if domestic cats and leopards have a similar sort of allergy type of effect on people. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, Ferg. But the thing about this is that no one's going to come and touch Thandi. You'd be very hard-pressed to try and touch a leopard without losing your hand. So I think she's got worse things to worry about than her allergies when it comes to getting close to a female or a male leopard. But yeah, we don't get close enough to them to pick up the allergies. I would suggest that if she did spend time out here, to not come and track her, because that would be quite difficult if you got any of the hair in the track or any of that might cause allergies, if that is in effect the same as the normal domestic cats. She's very, very interested, very, very listening. I'm just going to give another update on the radio, folks. Apologies. Our stations, Thandi still mobile south from the junction, Drakensberg and Mamba. Last vehicle, he sort of came towards us but then didn't see my lights. I think he's quite confused. Okay, so while we try and reposition to find this lovely cat again, we're going to go back to Scott and Hukumuri.
Because Hukumuri is still fast asleep. So yeah, the waiting game continues, and it seems like Dave and myself might have to rack up some overtime, as it would be foolish to leave him be when I feel very strongly that he does have a kill nearby. Even if the kill isn't far from here, it could be very difficult to find if we don't know where it is, so we need to bank it while we can, while the going is good. Hello, young Tula-Ann, just 5 years old. You would like to know if this male leopard, Hukumuri, is a father yet. If he has any little baby leopards running around somewhere. It's hard to be certain, but there is a good chance that he could have a few kids already. It seems like he's only just becoming big and strong enough to be a daddy, so he may not have found a wife yet. So time will tell. Also because he's come from an area where we actually don't know. We don't know what he's been up to. We're not too sure how old he is. But I'm sure fairly soon he is going to have some cubs of his own. There's a female leopard that's been spending a lot of time in an area of Djuma where he also spends a lot of time. Her name is the Ingrid Dam female. And she's a young female who could well give birth to her first litter of cubs, being born to this father, but only time will tell. Hopefully it won't take too long for us to work that out. Very peaceful, still evening. It's nice and cool now. It's incredible how much the weather has cooled off in the last kind of 2 weeks. When I left here mid-February, it was still quite hot and sticky, whereas just 2 weeks down the line, I've noticed a considerable change in temperature, both during the day and of course also at night. I much prefer the cooler times of the year here in the Sabi Sands, so looking forward to it to continue cooling off for the next few weeks that I'm here. I also like the scenery in winter. I'm not sure why. I prefer the kind of dry brown scenery to the lush green scenery. It also makes tracking animals far easier, and it makes bushwalk far more enjoyable. At the moment, we were lucky, really lucky, up until recently to have not got much rain. It's made tracking and bushwalks quite easy, but in the last few weeks it really has thickened up quite a lot, and it makes not only finding the animals, tracking the animals, doing bushwalks, but even off-roading after animals. You can't really see where you're going, so it's easier to fly into a hole or hit a stump. Tristan's going to have to be extra careful when he gets back from leave now that it's thickened up. We don't want him falling out of the car again. Taylor will also be quite happy that it's no longer the rainy season. She's not going to fall in any puddles anytime soon. They've been the latest 2 victims of live bloopers. But I need to be careful and not be nasty and not harp on it too much, otherwise I will then be the next. Very good. Steve's got back in touch with Thandi. Why don't you go see what she's up to?
Yes, we have found her. Just calling another vehicle into the sighting, folks, so just bear with me. She's just over here. I'm going to try and get across. There's a little bit of a drainage line coming through. It's always exciting following a leopard. We've got another vehicle joining us, as I said. It's Tom, I believe, one of the landowners. So we just get through this little thick bush here. Apologies for not looking back, folks. I'm trying to focus on here. And we're going to go to Taylor with Tingana.
And he's on the move. Well, he stood up. There we go. He doesn't look too bad, in my opinion. I mean, he's a little bit on the slender side. He's not as big and bulky as what he normally is, but that, of course, you know, happens when they haven't had a meal for a little while, is that they lose quite a bit of weight, but it won't take much. He's looking down towards the dam. Do you know what I think he's going to do? Maybe he's a little bit desperate and he's going to try and take advantage of perhaps one of the waterbuck, maybe one of the Nyala, the impala, bushbuck, that all like to live around Chitwa Lodge. And I always say this, the animals that live around lodges become completely blasé about what's really going on around them. For instance, look at those warthogs we saw today, how casual they were. Didn't even look at us. And there is an Inyala bull too, walking in this direction. We're not going to be able to see it, unfortunately. It's very far away. I think Tingana has actually spotted it. The only issue is, though, is that if he goes through the electric fencing to get into the lodge, we're not going to see him anymore because it's quite dense. But that Nyala has actually walked off now and slowly coming in this direction, probably about maybe 80 meters away. But you can see how his attention is fixated in sort of an easterly direction. Let's hope the guinea fowl have all left so they don't give away his presence. My money is going to be on Tingana tonight. I want my money, but my side, I'm going to be choosing Tingana, and I hope that he gets a meal. Sorry, one of you antelope species, please sacrifice yourself, because this beautiful boy needs to put on a bit of weight. But I think he's fine. He'll be okay. He's just sitting down. Patient man, this is. He's a big cat. He's not quite as big as the Anderson male, but he's definitely got a massive dewlap. I'd love to see him again with a full belly, just to really prove to everybody how big he is. Now, I'm being eaten alive by mosquitoes at the moment. And back down again. Nina, you're wondering if leopards develop cataracts just like humans do? Possibly. I can't say that I've ever seen a cataract formed on a leopard. I'm just trying to think. I've seen a leopard named Warthog Wallow. She got an injury to her eye. But other than that, no, I haven't really seen it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they could. But I'm not 100% sure to that answer. Perhaps Steve or Scott might know. The only thing is also there are a couple of other guides. Sorry, I was trying to swat the mosquitoes that have now devoured my legs. I was silly. I didn't put any bug spray on them. Always put bug spray on. Not a clever idea. We are in a little bit of a limited area, and I know there's quite a few guides that are wanting to come in now to have a look at Tingana too, because I don't think he's been spotted for a few days. When I spoke to Sheldon earlier today, I don't think he's seen him for a little while. So I passed on the message to him just to let him know that he is around. They should probably come and have a look. So I think what we might do is we might make some space in this limited area and let everybody have a little squiz before, well, he disappears. I think he might be joining the guests for dinner tonight on the deck at Chitwa. But it's been nice to see him, and we'll come back and we'll follow up here first thing tomorrow morning. But I'm going to send you back across into Djuma to Steve to see what Thandi's up to.
Thank you, Taylor. She's still moving. We've had a little bit of a time trying to follow her through here, but we are doing it with the infrared, as you can see. Also trying to get Tom into the sighting, because he hasn't seen her yet, and I'm sure he would like to. There she's rolling. I'm going to switch off. Let's watch her. This is classic of what leopards do. They like to roll in the dung of other animals to pick up the scent, to try and mask their scent, so to speak. They do smell quite bad. They do smell quite terrible, actually. The smell of rotting meat. I'm just going to speak again in the radio, so please forgive me. Tom, she's mobile directly away from my vehicle now. Towards the road you came around on. So maybe if you go forward 100 meters or so, and I'll keep directing you. Yeah. Ferg seems to have lost picture on the camera, but I can see on the monitor. Kirst, are you getting... I'm getting it all there. Yeah, I don't know what... At its finest... And we're going to continue with her and see what she gets up to. And while we do so, we're going to go once again back to Scott and Hukumuri.
Well, good luck, Steve, in keeping up with Thandi. It's going to be very useful for our morning search, knowing exactly where she's moving this evening, because then we can have a good idea of where to kind of backtrack and see if she doesn't come back on the same trail to collect the young cublets. Not much has changed here, and I'm hoping, come on boy, oh, this is the first yawn, even though it was half a yawn. It was really good. Good start, step in the right direction. That little yawn, they like to yawn before they get up. Nina, you would like to know, how far can a leopard see at night? Well, let's just start off by saying a pitch black night with no assistance from the moon, because of course it will vary greatly throughout the month depending on how big and bright the moon is. But on a pitch black night, I would say, I've had a situation with Malaika, a female cheetah, up in Kenya, and it was pitch black. It was early in the morning, we were using infrared equipment, and she got up and looked very intently off in one direction, and we then also had a look, and we worked out that it was some zebra that were walking about 100 meters away from her. Whether she could tell what they were, I'm not too certain, but she definitely could see them. And that's kind of the best example I have of how far a predator can see at night. I haven't spent enough time after dark with them to be able to kind of definitively know how far they can see. And also, like I say, the tricky thing is we don't know how clearly they're seeing the subject. Maybe they just know it's something and then they go closer to further investigate. So it's going to be very tricky to work out. But I would say, 100 meters, I'd be confident that they can see that far. Of course, if there's no obstructions in the way, that goes without saying. It'll be interesting to hear what the others think, what Taylor and Steve think. I wouldn't be able to hazard an accurate, definitive answer to that question. Very good, Steve's back with Thandi. She's still on the move, and so are you.
Thank you very much, Scott. And how far can she see? A lot further than me, I can tell you that. But she's still moving here. Don't think I've lost her. She's just up ahead somewhere. But it's wonderful being able to follow a leopard in this environment. She doesn't show any sign of being bothered by us. And the grass is getting rather long. Haven't seen in about 15 seconds. And she could quite easily just have disappeared from view. We were giving Tom, the landowner there, a bit of a space to have a look. And just like that, the beautiful leopardess, right before the end of the show, seems to have given us the slip. Can you see her there, bud? No. We're still using infrared to not influence these animals, so we've been following her with the infrared, but only when you lose her from time to time do we put the spotlight on. It does make it quite difficult to keep up with them if you do lose them. The spotlight gives you a little bit more field of vision. Oh no, Fergie, where did she go? Well, folks, it looks like she has decided enough is enough. Chances are she's probably lying down just back where we passed. But we're going to go to Scott, who's managed to maintain his leopard, and let's see what Hukumuri is up to.
Well, it's been a much easier job for me than it has for Steve, and you'll be glad to know and see for yourselves that finally the man is showing some signs of life. And hopefully it won't take long for him to get up, possibly go for a drink, and then take us to wherever he has his kill stashed. Very good. It looks like he is heading straight towards the water. So shall we. Woohoo! Well, just in the nick of time, just a few minutes before the end of the safari, and he decided to thankfully get up for us. Hold on there, Dave. It's quite steep. This was the hill that embarrassed me earlier. Oh. Ashlyn, you would like to know, how do male leopards select a territory that they would like to claim? And I don't have a clue. I guess it's kind of default, really. They'll have a few options available to them, but I guess they kind of just go wherever the wind blows them. You know, there's so many factors involved, but I guess they'll keep pushing towards wherever the weakest link is. Happy to hear that the Zoomy controlling the Djuma dam cam has finally got a good view of the leopard. It's been hiding behind a bush the whole afternoon. So that's great news. Now, what are your plans, Hukumuri? Please don't torture us and make us stay here too late. I don't know what dinner is, but I'm quite hungry. But at least we've got him out in the open, thinking about doing something. You can see he's taking lots of short, sharp bits, which emphasizes how full his belly is. And, I mean, it's difficult to be certain, but I'm convinced he's more full than when we left him last night. Okay, good stuff, boy. Seems like he's going to come down for a drink. No. He's stopped. You can see the lights of the lodge in the background. How cool is that? Maybe he doesn't want a drink. Which is fine. I'd prefer him not to have a drink and take us to wherever he's hidden his food. I've been very, very bold in continuing to say that. There's no guarantees he actually does have a meal anywhere. But I'm confident he does. I'm not sure if he was hissing at those blacksmith lapwings there. It seemed like he was opening his mouth at quite a strange angle. Oh, he's just changed direction again. It looks like he is in fact going to go for a quick drink. I'd be interested to see if he's happy to drink from this waterhole, or if he'd be, or if he would prefer to go to a smaller waterhole where we actually pump water into, because that might be a little bit more tasty for him. And I think because there's so much on the cards here, we might extend for a little bit, just to see what he gets up to. And sadly, we're on the wrong side of the dam to get a good view of him drinking, but let's see if we can't make a plan. He may spend quite a while quenching his thirst. It's looking promising. There we go. We'll have a much better idea of what he's getting up to now. Ivy, you've just commented that Hukumuri is definitely a solid cat, and he definitely is. He's in his prime. He's a chunky, big male leopard. And, I mean, I think it's, you know, personally I find it quite hard to be able to say one leopard's much bigger than another, unless, you know, I was to see them side by side. So I wouldn't be able to hazard a guess as to who's bigger between him and Tingana. But he definitely is impressive. No two ways about that. So what I think we'll do, guys, is just give it about 5 or 10 minutes, to see what he gets up to after taking a drink. If he doesn't do anything and just flop down, we'll say goodbye to you. And Dave and I will just sit here for a while and wait and see what he gets up to. But yeah, that's the kind of rough plan for now. I'm hoping, though, that he's going to move directly from the pub to the grill and help himself to some steaks. Rosette, you would like to know which lodge is behind him, and it's a wonderful lodge called Vuyatela. There's 2 lodges here on Djuma. The one we're looking at is called Vuyatela. It sleeps 10 people. That's kind of the main living area that we can see that's lit up there. And there's 5 rooms, and then there's also another lodge adjacent to this camp within the same kind of environs, which is called Galago. So there's 2 different camps, both that sleep 10 people, and you have to hire out the camp as an entirety. You can't just come here in 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. So that's a little bit about the 2 camps that have very kindly allowed us to squeeze in to the very popular Sabi sands and let us do our business here alongside them. What a great way to go on safari. Imagine coming with 9 of your friends, jumping all onto one vehicle and heading out on safari. What a treat. I've actually got a friend of mine who's come out here with his family and friends, and they take out both camps. And they kind of do, joint dinners, one night at one camp, one night at another. But 20 people out on safari having a good old time together. So whatever he was eating was clearly very salty, because he's thoroughly enjoying this thirst-quenching exercise. It looks like he may be coming to a close soon. Spyro, it's the greatest pleasure to stick around with this beautiful big cat, and of course you guys alongside us for a few extra minutes. No problem at all. This is what it's all about. You've got to kind of make the most of the opportunities when they present themselves to us, and this is a good example of just that. I would kick myself if we had to come out in the morning and start searching wildly for where he's hidden the kill. I just hope, in fact, I'm right about my theory. Don't lie down. Please don't lie down. I've got a feeling he's going to plonk himself down soon. What are your plans, Hukumuri? What are you sniffing in the grass? Well, Alan, you've just come out with a great description of Hukumuri. You've likened him to Mike Tyson. And I guess you're not too far off there. I think he's currently fighting his way up to... What is he doing there? Fighting his way into a better position. Not that we've seen him physically fighting with any other leopards yet. The only interaction we've seen with him and another leopard was a standoff with a male to the north of us called Djuma. It looks like he's rolling in some poop. Leopards like to roll in herbivores' poop. They also lick it, and I'm guessing they're licking it for the minerals. And they are rolling in it, I guess, because they like the smell of it. I don't think it's to necessarily try and mask their scent. I've mainly seen them doing it with buffalo poop. But there's not much buffalo poop around due to the fact that there's not many buffalo around. So I wonder what it is. Maybe some fresh ellie dung, I wonder. Well, if he gets up, we'll go and have a quick squiz and try and work out what it is, get to the bottom of it. I'm told Thandi was also doing the very same thing. I guess it's as close as they get to catnip. Gives them some kind of stimulation. Hopefully it stimulates him enough to not fall asleep there, to get up and continue with his mission, whatever that may be. What are you planning, buddy? What are you plotting and planning here? I really love this infrared equipment that we're using. It's an absolute game changer. It doesn't shock me, but it's just so refreshing every time I look out to where the camera's pointing and just see that it's pitch black. Yet this fancy technology is allowing us great insight into the lives of these animals with very, very little impact on what they're getting up to. Now, there's some geese that I can hear getting a little bit worked up behind us here, so I'm just going to shine my flashlight and see if there's not another predator about. No, they weren't going too ballistic, but they were just kind of having a chat. So I thought maybe there was something that was bothering them. No joy. Okay. No. Let's try to get a little bit closer and try and see if we can work out what it is. Once we've done that, we can then try and, well, decide what to do regarding this extended drive. Matt, no, there's no more moonlight. Basically, after full moon, the sun rises 45 minutes late. The moon, rather, rises 45 minutes later every evening. So yesterday evening, it rised 45 minutes after sunset. Tonight, it'll be an hour and a half after sunset. So it will pop up and it will be big and almost full, but it'll only be up later into the night, and it'll be high up and very bright in the early hours of the morning when we head out. Has our repositioning helped? Not really. I don't know if you guys can see what he's doing. I certainly can't be sure though. Must be something. I'm guessing it's some form of poop. I don't want to get too much closer to him and disturb him, but what we can do is hopefully if he decides to get up and move, I can go and have a closer look and try and establish exactly what it is. He's enjoying it, there's no two ways about that. Okay, well, everybody, I've tried, and Dave and I are going to continue to sit here with him, but we're going to say goodbye to you guys, and say a big thanks for joining in on what turned out to be a magnificent trifecta leopard safari. We've loved having you guys along for the safari, and all your comments and contributions along the way. Well done to all the girls in the final control room, and the boys, of which there are a few. We will see you all for the sunrise safari. It's bound to be a cracker.